Hey everybody, this is Brian with the VIP Soundcheck, and I am so honored to have Freeze the Fall with me. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, of
Of
course.
course, yeah.
Absolutely. Before we start, if each of you would just kind of like to introduce yourself and what you do in the band.
Yeah, so we are Freeze the Fall. We're a band from BC, Canada. My name is Quinn. I'm the lead vocalist and guitarist.
I'm Jonah and I play the drums.
I'm Aria and I play the bass and backing vocals.
Awesome. So British Columbia, how is it there today? Because here in Erie, Pennsylvania, kind of the other side of the continent, it's been like raining so much. I feel like I'm over there.
Yeah. It's been pretty sunny, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting into the summer weather finally.
Yeah, fine.
Nice. Now,
Yeah.
you guys actually have your debut EP, Thrones. Is that out now or is that still pre-order?
Yeah, it's coming out soon. So
Okay.
we just released Broken Glass, though. You can check that out, our new single, and it'll be coming out soon, Thrones.
Very cool. Because I actually ordered it from your website this morning, so I wasn't sure when it was when it was
Oh, thank you
releasing.
so much. Yeah,
Sure.
it's out at the end of July, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. So coming up.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you guys been working on the EP?
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Basically for like as long as we've been a band.
Yeah.
So we've been a band for what, like a little under 2 years. And so as soon as we met, basically like kind of right away, we started writing original songs. And so then from there we went into the studio about a year later, would you say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we started working with our producer Jordan on the EP. And not all the songs that we wrote made it onto the EP because like the very first ones, they were good for the time, but they weren't like the same quality as the other ones.
Mhm.
So yeah, I kind of said we've been working on the EP for as long as we've been a band.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Nice. And you went to the same school, correct? That's where you guys met at?
So what?
Yeah. So Quinn and I met, we went to the same middle school. And then we started jamming that summer. And then later on we met Jonah through a gig that I saw him playing in that summer. And
Mhm.
then we became a band.
Yeah, and now we all go to the same school,
Yeah.
but not at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Now, how long did it take to kind of gel as a band and kind of get to where you knew what each other liked to do?
Well, I mean, I'd say the chemistry between us was pretty instant. We
Yeah.
came in with different song ideas, cover ideas that we wanted to do, and I felt like we gelled pretty instantly. Like it was that first practice after that, whatever, half an hour of awkwardness. After getting through that, it was pretty much just like instant friendship. So
Yeah,
that was
I
great.
agree with that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you mentioned doing covers, and that's actually how I found you guys. Probably how a lot was through your Warning cover.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
a spotlight on the Warning, and I actually had interviewed Pow and Danny before,
Wow.
and it was pretty cool. And so I had a bunch of their fans send me your guys' video of
Oh, wow, that's
Evolve.
amazing.
That's
And I
awesome.
thought, this is incredible. So then I started looking up everything else. And so what made you guys want to choose to do Evolve as a cover?
Well, like Jonah had said when we first met, we all kind of came in with each of us kind of chose a song to cover so that we had something to do right from that first practice. And The Warning is the band that got me into music. So I was like, oh well, we should just like cover a Warning song. So that was the cover that I brought. And I don't know that we covered the other songs too, but that's kind of the one that
That one's
I guess
the-
that kind of blew
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not destruction, it's rebirth. I'm not in danger. I'm the danger now. Show me what it means to change. Help me become something more than just a vessel in disguise.
Now, when you're writing your original songs, and you mentioned that a couple didn't make the EP, is there one of you that's the primary songwriter, or do all three of you kind of share in that?
I'd say that kind
I
of,
think we all read.
yeah, kind of early on, it was definitely different. It was more like one of us would kind of write the song or write the lyrics, I mean.
Yeah.
But now it's more collective. We all have a part in writing the
Yeah,
song.
and I think part of that comes from trust and getting to know each other better because now we can be like, yo, like I actually like I think the riff you have is cool, but what if we like change it a little more like this and just being more comfortable to like talk about ideas and also to talk about song subjects and what you want to write about
Mhm.
because I think that in itself is pretty vulnerable. So I think now that we know each other better, it's a lot easier to write collaboratively. Big word.
Sure. And I saw you guys have been doing some live shows. shows and you've got some big ones coming up. How has that felt? Were you nervous as could be like the first time that you got in front of people to perform?
Yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking at first, and to be honest, it still can be, but we've definitely like the nerves kind of they die down eventually, and now playing live is like the best thing ever. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I still get like nervous before the show, but I think part of it is like excitement.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for
It's
sure.
like we got this.
Now, I want to, before I come back to some question, I want to kind of ask each of you an individual question, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll start, Aria, I wanted to talk about when I listen to your bass, I mean, you've got that really cool kind of brings that like ambience to it. And I saw you mentioned in an interview that you actually started with ukulele. Is that correct?
That is correct. I've played ukulele for about 4 years before bass, and I didn't really want to play bass. I just kind of showed up in my room one day and there's just a bass there, and my dad's like, "You're gonna play this instrument," and now I really like it, so it worked out.
Nice. So that leads, I was going to ask, like, how did you go from ukulele to bass? And you're just kind of forced to.
But now I'll never look back. So
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
I was thinking you could bring in the ukulele and have that like ukulele rock, like they've done with
Ooh.
bagpipes and stuff now. So-
Honestly,
Yeah.
why not?
Why not?
yeah, you could start something new.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yep.
And also, you're the youngest member of the band. Do you feel any extra pressure being the youngest at all, or?
Not really, honestly. We're all pretty close in age. I'm only like a couple months behind. But yeah, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I want to move on to Quinn. And when I watch some of your videos, particularly the live performance videos, you seem to have a really good connection with the crowd, getting them involved. And so when I saw an interview that you guys did, you were talking about that you're all kind of introverted. So do you flip a switch when you go on stage? How do you go from being introverted to then just kind of dominating the stage?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, I don't know, I think it takes practice for sure, and I'm still working to develop that because it still like stresses me out to be like talking to so many people and whatever. But I think part of it for me is just like feeling the connection to the song, and that in itself like hypes me up and gets me ready to like share the energy with the crowd. But yeah, definitely still pretty introverted.
Okay. And
Yeah.
do you feel any extra pressure being like the front woman, the one who's the lead singer?
Not really, because I think we've worked a lot to make it so that we very much have our own like role and we are equally important. You know, some bands are more like about the singer, but I feel like we are less of that, which takes the pressure off me because I feel like we can all just like do our own thing, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I've noticed that a lot with particular power trios to where it seems like the three are all equally as noticed. Maybe bigger bands, it kind of focuses more on the lead singer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I actually feel like part of it is actually because we're introverts. And so we all have to like pull the same amount. Like, I feel like if I was an extrovert, it would be different because I'd be like, oh, I got you. I'll just like answer all the interview questions and I'll hype everyone up. But I feel like that's like a big part of it, to be
I agree.
honest.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Now, do the three of you feel that you kind of like pull strength from each other in that aspect and you feel more comfortable talking to people?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just sitting here in an interview, if I was like alone, I definitely wouldn't feel as comfortable as if I was sitting with them. So yeah, for sure.
Sure. Now, Jonah, I noticed particularly in the cover videos, I got to ask you, where did that unicorn that was on your drum kit come from?
The unicorn.
At the Common Thieves.
Oh, so actually Proper Man, the band who basically that's their venue, right? Crown and Thieves, they play there all the time. So my drum teacher, Justin, he's the drummer for that band, and he has that unicorn on his drum kit there. And I'm not really sure why. I think it has a name. It's like Gary or something. But but yeah, that's what's about the
We
unicorn.
got to get Justin on here to tell us the unicorn
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
Because I'm watching the video, I'm like, wait a minute, is that on the drum?
Yeah, it's just always there.
Nice. And then do you kind of style yourself after any other drummer in particular? Or is there one that you look up to more than others?
I think that I look up to Justin mostly as my inspiration, but I also look up to drummers like Joey Jordison and Taylor Hawkins as well. They are
Okay.
some big inspirations for me.
Very cool. Now, I wanted to ask you guys about some of the particular songs, some of your originals that you have. Glitch, I liked a lot. And I like how you guys, and I appreciate on your website that you also gave your explanation of what the song meant. And so I kind of wanted to go a little bit deeper on some of those. So with Glitch, you talked about, the way that you feel as an empath, and you kind of wish that you were more robotic. Can you go into a little bit more detail on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just about like how difficult it can be to be human and to like feel all the feelings, right? And just wishing that, yeah, that you could be more robotic in a sense. But then in the last chorus, it says, we'll never be robotic. So it's kind of coming to terms with like, you cannot, like, you have to be human and you have to like go with that. And I think that's also important to our songwriting, because if you weren't so human, like you couldn't make art. I think art is it's a very
Right.
human thing.
Right.
So yeah.
Nice. And that's what I was thinking. I was actually going to follow up with that. It's like, how would you get the art? How would you get the beautiful music if you didn't have that part of you?
Yeah,
For sure, yeah.
yeah. So I think like to make art, at least for us, I think you like really need to lean into that, like that vulnerability. Which goes back to what we were saying before about how it's so important to like know your bandmates so that you can like talk about that.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, when you're going out and you're performing live in particular, with you guys being so young, I believe you have one more year of high school?
I have one more year of high school and they have
Two more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do people treat you in a certain way or expect a certain thing because you're so young?
In high school,
It's just in general with your music.
Just like
Like-
the general reception of
Yeah.
oh, I think people really have big reactions I'll see at shows and stuff because we're so young. But
Yeah.
I also like it when people enjoy our music, not because we're young, but because they just like the music. I really enjoy when people react like that. Yeah.
Good. So you don't get too much pushback about that, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like when we were making our EP, I remember we were sitting down with our producer Jordan and we were saying like we want this EP to be good, period. Just good. Not, oh, it's good for their age or it's good for how long they've known each other. Just good. We want people to just be able to enjoy the music and to treat us seriously and as like equals, regardless of our age. And I think that's the response we've been met with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. for sure.
Awesome. And that was one of the things I thought. And there have been bands where I've heard them like they're pretty good for being as young as they are. But when I heard you guys, I just thought they sound great. It didn't register like, oh, they're young. It sounded awesome.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And then one of the other songs I wanted to ask you about was Broken Glass. And something I found kind of cool about that, and I thought maybe you're going through some of this in your real life. Is that kind of like a screw you to people that have told you can't do this?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Now,
it
how-
could, like, and when we were coming up with that, we were saying like it could also like it's not just about that, like it can be applied to like basically anyone in any scenario, because I think everyone's kind of working to achieve something to some degree, and there's always people, like regardless of who you are and what you're trying to do, there's always going to be pushback. So like you have to come to terms with like regardless of what you choose to do, there will be like pushback, so you just have to like do it anyways. So it's like bigger than us and our reality, it's for everybody.
For sure.
Sure.
The fear no one sees and it's rooted in a lie. I never saw you there when you stood unbroken. So don't even try to say that
Now, you'd mentioned some of the songs that didn't make it to the EP. Are you kind of keeping those in a backlog that maybe later on down the road you might revisit them and maybe touch them up and release them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so some of them we still play them live because we don't have enough other songs to like, you know, have like a full set. So we still do play them live. I don't think I don't think that we'll ever come back to them, but we might.
Yeah, I don't think we will. I think now we're just working on like keep writing and keep improving our craft. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and we might take like concepts or different ideas for them, not necessarily the whole song, but yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. And kind of along with that, you know, like you said that your writing has grown. When you look back at when you guys first started to now, what's the biggest area of growth that you see as a band?
Oh, that's a big question.
yeah. What do you think? I think we've learned to like draw more inspiration from things because at the beginning it felt like we were just writing. Like we didn't know how to like write all together, so we just write. But
That's good.
now that we're working on our next project for after this EP, we're actually sitting down and being like, okay, what do we want this song to sound like and to feel like, and what do we want the whole vibe of the song to be? Which I don't think we did that at the beginning.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay, so more of like an intentional mapping out of where you want to go with the song.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. And on the flip side, when you look at where you are as a band now, what do you think is one area that you really want to focus on to continue to grow?
Oh, as far as writing or playing together or
Yeah, just anything associated with your music as a whole.
Ooh. Well, I
I'm hitting you
think
with some tough ones here.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
these
I
are
love those.
great questions. Well, I think we could always be even tighter.
Yeah, I
Yes,
agree.
for sure.
Like making that live show bigger and sounding better, sounding more like the recording, and just being really big and interacting with the crowd and having that huge stage presence. I think that could always be worked on.
Always,
Agreed.
always.
Yeah,
We've come a long way, to be fair,
For
from where
sure,
we started,
definitely.
but there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, like those Crown and Thieves videos, like the Evolve video and all the other videos at the same time. That was like maybe the second or third time we had ever performed live. So our live shows are like much
Much better,
different
yeah.
now.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like we play to click now and we have some backing tracks and our stage presence is better and everything is just like leveled up from
Evolved,
there,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's still more that we can do to improve that. So,
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, I want to ask you about the place where you guys have filmed your original videos. That's a pretty cool place, and it's got that ambience that fits your music. I like that.
Yeah, it's
Where
beautiful.
is that? Like somebody's house, or is that a studio that you guys go to? Or
It was a friend of a friend's barn, and we were like looking for a place to shoot the videos, and they reached out and they were like, hey, we have like this big empty barn, and you guys can like do whatever you want to it. You have the day, go ahead. And we did it.
and it was just like a big empty room, like none of the decorations or anything. Like the only thing that was there were these like strands of lights at the very like
Top
at the
of it.
ceiling. And you
Yeah.
can see those in some of the shots, but aside from that, it was literally just like wood, just like walls and a roof. So we had to decorate all of that.
My mom went crazy asking like all of her friends and all of like the costume shops for like props and stuff. It came together pretty well. I think.
Yeah, there were a
it
lot
looked
of
cool.
yeah, there were a lot of local like businesses and stuff who were like, yeah, we'll help you out, and they'd like lend us stuff, and so
Yeah.
everyone was on board for that.
Yeah.
Very cool. It makes sense it was a barn because I was going to ask you, was there no heat there? Because I could see your breath.
No heat.
December in Canada.
December in Canada in t-shirts with no heat.
No.
Yeah.
For like 12 hours.
Yeah, and where we were, the barn didn't have a door. It was just like a door frame, and we put a blanket over it, but that obviously doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like some animals coming in while you're trying.
Yeah,
Yeah, basically.
I'd say it was worth it though. They came together pretty well.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Regardless of how cold we were, it totally like worked out, and it matches Breeze.
It
the
even added to the video, like the breath
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like, the purple and
The
red
purple
hands.
hands.
You're like, that was makeup. That was meant to be.
Yeah,
Of course, it was on purpose.
We change personalities like a deck of cards. Last dazzling golden green. Cover up, listen for me. It's a masquerade. So dance the night out. Afraid to close my eyes. And on it goes. It's a masquerade.
I was just gonna say, I know your live shows have been around British Columbia, and obviously you guys are busy with making music, with school, everything. Are there any plans of expanding out and to the U.S. or even over towards like Ontario? Because I'd love to see you guys live, and I'd go up to Toronto and London a lot, but it's far to go out to that.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, well, we're working on
Yes.
new places. We can't really say anything beyond that, but our shows will definitely not be limited to British Columbia.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it'll take some time, but
Yeah, it'll take some time, but I feel like our
We'll
fan
get there.
base I feel like our fan base has been growing and more people are like knowing who we are. Like I feel like all of this has happened very, very,
very fast,
quickly.
yes.
And it's just still like it's just getting faster and faster, I think. So
Yeah.
yes, you will
So,
definitely see
yes.
us in other countries.
Nice. And you
Yeah.
mentioned the fan base, and that's one thing that I wanted to ask you guys, and it did happen so quickly. How does it feel knowing that you've got fans all around the world? I mean, you've got people in Europe loving you guys.
It's
That's
very
got to be
cool.
an incredible feeling.
For me at least, it honestly still hasn't sunk in. Like I don't know how to process it, honestly.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
It makes you like think how huge the world is, right? And like how many people just listen to music and
Yeah.
how many people can discover new artists, right? It's really
Yeah.
wild.
It's so funny whenever we get like whenever someone orders like a shirt or whatever, we obviously see it. We'll be like, "Oh yeah, so and so in Germany ordered this one shirt." And then we're just sitting there and we're like, right
Wait,
now
what?
there's someone in Germany just walking around wearing a Freeze the Fall shirt. That's
Yeah.
weird. That's really, really weird.
Yeah,
You should like write a note, be like, go outside, take a picture, and send it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes people do tag us in pictures and stuff when they get their merch, and we always put it on our story and thank
Mhm.
them.
Yeah. It's
Very
awesome.
cool.
So cool.
And with you guys still being, your new EP coming out, the brand new one,
Mhm.
you're still pretty much at the beginning of your career as far as everybody knowing you. With the
Mhm.
fans that you have now, how special is it knowing that they've been with you since day one?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So thankful.
amazing. Yeah, I kind of forget sometimes that we're at like the beginning of the
Yes.
journey because there's of course so much to do. It's like a big to-do list always every single day of what we need to accomplish. But to take a step back and be like, wait, we're so new to this, and to see that there's already people from like even people from other countries who are just like such loyal supporters already, and they're always like messaging us and like I don't know, reaching out to reactors, being like, yo, you gotta check out this band, Freeze the
Yeah.
Fall. It's just incredible.
It is.
And it'll be so cool in like 10 years when those same fans will be like, yeah, remember when they were like 15? That's crazy.
Nice. You already got a big chunk of the Warning Army behind you, so you
Yeah.
got to initiate in the Freeze the Fall Army and have the same people come over for you. Because
Yes.
they're rabid, so I mean.
Yeah, they are.
They
They
are.
really are.
Now, one other thing, and you talked about, the daily things that you have to do. How do you guys balance your time with the music, with school, with having a normal social life?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think making a schedule. I know everybody makes a schedule, but I think it's really important. I'm so terrible at that. I'm so bad at that. But I think keeping a schedule and definitely having a chunk of time to yourself, if you can manage having that like one chunk of free time, even once during the week could like really make your week for you. So
Yeah,
I think that's
absolutely.
important.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important not to get like to drown in all the things that needs to be done with school and with social life and all of the things.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's really important to take time for yourself to just recover for a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you won't be able to get anything done if you're like extremely overwhelmed and anxious about things. So it's very important to put yourself first at times and just take a break.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I do have two more questions that I want to ask you all, and I'd like, if it's cool, for each of you to answer it individually.
Yeah.
The first one is, if you could develop and be part of like your dream tour with two other bands, who would you want with you?
Bands.
I love that
Two other
question.
bands.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Oh.
These are tricky. These are in the interviews. These are always like, when someone just comes
I
up
love
to you
it.
and is like, hey, what's your favorite band? And you forget like every song
Yeah.
you've ever listened to. Like
You're
that.
like, I like music.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I heard music before.
Right now, I would have to say that like I'm really Sleep Token and Bring Me the Horizon for me right now.
Oh,
These are
okay.
my tops. So That'd be a pretty cool tour.
Yeah.
Make sure that one comes to Ontario so I can come up and see it. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Will do.
Yes, will do.
Holy.
Neither of those bands ever come to Canada, but
No.
we'll have to meet.
Yeah.
No, it's so funny. Whenever bands do come to Canada, they go to like Toronto, which people are like, oh yeah, it's fine, that's in your country. I don't think people realize how big Canada
There's
is.
more to Canada.
It's literally, it's so much easier for us to like get a passport and go to the States than it is for us to go to Toronto.
Yeah.
So it would take
Yeah.
like to drive there. Yeah. Anyways, what's your
It may seem like a weird combo, but Avenged Sevenfold and Foo Fighters.
Wow.
Nice. That'd be a great show.
That'd be sick. I love that. I feel like you and I were just talking about this. I feel like us with like Nova Twins and The Warning would be like
That'd be
really
wild.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be a great mix.
It would be, yeah.
Maybe even throw in like Plush with you guys and have all four.
Yes.
That'd be
That would
Right.
be cool.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it was so funny. I was seeing some of our fans were saying like, oh, like I'm a fan of The Warning and Plush and Freeze the Fall, and they're saying it's like all of, like North America.
Yeah.
That's true.
A band per country.
Yes.
The other thing I wanted to ask each of you, because everybody, of course, knows you outside of your friends and family for being musicians and being in Freeze the Fall. Besides music, what is something that is an interest for each of you?
Yeah, I'm really interested in art. I really like doing like watercolors and drawing and stuff. That like I guess just like all art, because also music is a form of art. So just like art as an umbrella, I love all of it.
Yeah, and sorry, she also she worked with our artist Kevin to design our merch.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so all the
That's
pieces
cool.
and stuff, they worked collaboratively. There's the word again, collaboratively. To make those designs. So I think that's pretty cool.
For sure, yeah.
Great job.
Thank you so much.
I'd say that I really like surfing, like wake surfing behind
Okay.
a boat for the summer, and then skiing in the winter.
Yes.
I love like having those two things for each season. And I also really like horror movies. I love
Okay.
like critiquing and watching horror movies.
Oh yeah, we
Nice.
all when we're not rehearsing, we all watch horror movies together,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
feel like it has like a big impact on our music actually, like horror movies, because we
Yeah,
watch so
definitely.
many of
Mhm.
them.
You'll see pretty soon that
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
stuff
affects
very
everything.
soon,
All
very
right, you
soon.
guys gonna go like Ice Nine Kills on us here?
You'll see what happens. You'll see what happens. For me, a big passion is like languages. I love learning about other languages, and kind of like how Aria's connects to music, mine also connects very much to music and like lyric writing and things like that. So it's all just like, I don't know, it all works together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very cool. I appreciate that because it kind of gives everybody a little insight into who you guys are as people, and
For sure, yeah.
really appreciate that. So make sure I'm going to put all the links for these guys so you can all follow them and check out everything that they're doing. Keep up with everything that's coming out. And before we go, and thank you again so much for spending this time with me. Is there
Yeah.
Having
anything that
us.
thank you, anything that each of you would like to say to fans before we sign off?
Mm.
I don't know if there's anything in particular. Just
Yeah,
like thank
just
you so
like-
much for following our journey and for
Yeah.
watching the interview.
Yeah.
It means the world to us.
It does.
So yeah, and you'll hear the full EP very, very soon.
Very
Yeah.
good. It's on its way.
Yes.
Nice. Well, again, guys, thank you so much. This has been awesome. Aria, Quinn, Jonah, it's been a blessing talking with you guys. Really appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
thank
having
you.
us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And as always, I want to thank you guys for spending this time with us. I love you all. God bless and rock on.
Which exists to